Greetings. This is your brother Dennis, ttwmtruth.com. And the title, if you need a title for this particular video sermon, I'm going to call this one, Coping with the Pre-Surgery Jitters. It is Monday, October 28th. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm reporting to Doctors West Hospital, and I'm going to have umbilical hernia repair surgery. And it's outpatient. I'll be under the anesthetic, which I've decided is really weird. And just you close your eyes, you open your eyes, and it's crazy. Some time has passed. It's sleep, but it's like not sleep because events are taking place. I guess this might be a little long, but because I'm going to talk nervously a little bit. Listen, if one more person asks me, are you nervous? Are you nervous about it? I might just be like, yeah. Do you know something I don't? The TLDR, too long didn't read. If you got surgery coming up and you're nervous, it's wasted energy. Don't waste your energy on it. You're either going to get up from the table and walk out, or you're not. And there's nothing you can really do about that. And that kind of leads me to my first point. Coping with the pre-surgery jitters is just that. Listen, kid, you're not promised tomorrow. I'm not promised tomorrow. You might get in a car crash on the way to surgery. You could be asleep the night before and some crazy Skylab thing drops right down onto the roof of your house. You're not promised tomorrow. And the first thing you should do is get a real deep understanding of that and be okay with it. Secondarily, and more importantly, is you got to be okay with that. Nobody's promised tomorrow. And it's incredibly unnerving to think about the fact that I'm going to have a new hole in me. It's going to heal eventually. And they're going to go into my body like opening the hood of a car. And it's just weird to think about. But listen, the first thing in coping with the pre-surgery jitters is to just get a real deep understanding of the fact you're not promised tomorrow. And if you can get a hold of that, maybe there's a little amount of peace that comes with that. Okay, and you have to start with that understanding before you get into the second thing I suggest, which is this. Picture a future past it. I think that the weird thing, and I'm 49 years old. I've literally made it to almost 50, having never had a surgery before, other than dental stuff, getting my grill worked on. It's a good long time. And my first kind of inclination is to just thinking about that day and that time, and oh God, how's it going to work out? And the nervous energy, man, you don't have to deal with that. Picture with the understanding, of course, that you're not promised tomorrow, but figure out what does the rest of this look like. I've been thinking lately, like this stomach pain. It's been unreasonable, and it became the new normal for me for 6 or 8 months. It was just, oh man, what is my stomach doing has dictated my life. And the possibility post-surgery that there's going to be a new normal. And what is that going to be like? After, of course, the healing process takes place, that there's going to be a new normal. And what's that new normal going to be like? And let myself be a little bit excited about that. I went and got some, I've been painting. I haven't painted since high school. It's a separate thing that I've been working on prior to this, to be less angry and less anxious. And painting, I haven't painted since high school. And I started working on this tree, which I may finish tonight before I go to bed, actually, so I can go into surgery having that one done and start a new thing. I got paint. I picked up some paint today at the store. I got, let me see, I got dark brown, I got red, I got light green, I got blue, I got yellow. I needed bigger tubes, because the ones that's little trial tubes, because I hadn't done it in a while, and working with acrylic. And soon realized that the little trial tubes that I got in that first set, I'm going to need a little more if I'm going to be doing extensive. I have 3 pre-stretched canvases too. I'm going to be off work. I'm going to be off work for until, well, the post-op checkup is the 14th, but hopefully go back to work on November 15th. And there was a whole is along the line of picturing the future, and what can I minimize working on that. So when I return on November 15th, that I can maximally set myself up for a place where I can just jump in, and planning things with people too. Reached out to a couple of old friends on Facebook, like, hey, when I get done with this, let's you and your wife, me and the Queen, get together and have dinner sometime, and kind of put some of that stuff out there too. It's I think it's good in coping with those pre-surgery jitters to think about what I'm going to do afterwards. What's my life going to look like afterwards, and focus on not just dreading, like, see past it. Train your mind to see past it. It's crazy. Going back to the first point for a minute, that you're not promised tomorrow, and you're never ready, right? Because you're not promised tomorrow. You don't know, and sooner or later, everybody gets that phone call. Oh God, I just saw him yesterday, and there's that initial shock of disbelief, like, oh wow. When's the last time I saw that person? And the things you wish you would have said the last time you saw that person. And that's the thing I definitely wanted to impress upon you for this in coping with the pre-surgery jitters. I mean, be a person who just says those things to people. Our time really is short. On the eternal scale, our time here on earth is so short. And everybody who really knows me, I'm that person, and I'm just going to say it. You and I are going to throw it out there, and then we're going to say it. We're going to talk about it and work through it. And everybody who knows me like that knows me, with one exception: people at work. There are 3 people, if I sit here and think about it, 3 people that I work with at my current job who get unfiltered dentists. And I know that any other coworkers other than those 3 that might watch this and think to themselves like, oh my God, there's an unfiltered version of that? Yes. And I'm sorry that you don't know that person. I'm sorry that you aren't a person where I can be comfortable enough that you get to see that. But I mean, you got to bite your tongue at work, right? You can't just be out there saying stuff. There's tact, which is a thing that took me a long time and many jobs to learn, but I think I've mastered it where I'm at. And to those 3 people that they know, those 3 people, if they wind up watching this, they know who they are. They know that I love them, and I'm grateful for them. Being people that I can just be unfiltered with, which is beautiful. All the more people you can have in your life that you can be unfiltered with, the more blessed you are, I think. And I'm grateful for everybody that I have like that. It's beautiful. And picture the future. Back to the second point again. Picture the future with those people. It's magnificent. The last thing I want to talk about, picturing the future. What do I want to do with Thicker Than Water Ministries, right? Because ideally, this is the YouTube channel on the ttwmtruth.com. If you happen upon the website with this, or the ministry Facebook page. Future that I have. What things am I working on? Ideally, I'd like to establish an LLC, limited liability company. My heart, more than anything else, should the Lord bless me with more time to get it done, faith-based drug treatment center, man, my brothers and sisters in recovery. And to set them up to be as successful as humanly possible. That's counseling, which I already got my CDCA2, have to have that for 2 years, get my LCDC, get that sorted out. Working on, I've already contacted a lawyer towards what I need, and I've been given a dollar amount to work towards now to establish the LLC. It's a long game. And I think a thing that my current job has made abundantly aware to me is that, and how to figure out how to do free housing. How about get out here and heal, and let us, the organization, take care of your housing for a little bit so that you can not have bills and just kind of settle into the pocket and set you up for the spike. So that's another thing I feel like I'd like to provide. Spiritually based. Listen, there is no recovery without Jesus. There is, I don't know. That's a hard thing that's a hard stance. And I know that some people might listen to that and be like, well, I'm making it work just fine. Hey, good. Whatever works for you, that's beautiful. My personal experience is there's no recovery without Jesus. And, but I can make room for faith and different ways of practicing that. It's the other part of what I'd like to do with Thicker Than Water Ministries, the podcast page. I've only done one thus far. I've reached out to people that I'd like to, it's Uncommon Spirituality, the podcast, the name I've chosen for the podcast. Generally under the blanket of From the War Room, Unspiritual or Uncommon Spirituality. I'm going to bring different people in, different faiths, sit down and have a conversation with these people on the podcast. More importantly, just to illustrate that you can be a Christian person and that it's not a cookie cutter thing like most people practice it. And some people have an interesting take on it. And I just want to bring those people in and illustrate that we can have a conversation. We can have a conversation how you practice it. If I drop one name, if I name drop one person on here, that's my friend Jolene, who is a practicing witch and who is only a Facebook friend thus far. I've never met this person in person. God, Joel, I need to sit down and do a podcast with you, kid. And I think it would be the most fascinating. I've had good conversation with her via private messenger, and she's my go-to person when I hear something about witchcraft or spells or something like that I can reach out to her and be like, hey, is this hogwash or is this real? I mean, I practiced myself there for a little while and get as deeply into it as my sister Jolene and some other people, and I feel like that'd be a great conversation, definitely for the podcast. Listen, man, reach out to people in love. You can't go wrong reaching out to people in love. And therein brings me to my last point. Your faith, man. When you're dealing with the pre-surgery jitters, I can't imagine having that to deal with and being a person who doesn't have some kind of faith or belief in something outside of yourself. Like, there's really no reason. What do you got? If you don't got that, it's alien to me to be like, well, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and I don't know, it just seems weird. And I mean, even before I was the man of God that I feel like I am today, I always believed in something other than, and it's just kind of taken shape for me as time has gone on. But man, if you're not a person of faith, it's just hard. I can't imagine dealing with the pre-surgery jitters and not having something like that to cling to. Some people see that as a weakness. I definitely over time have seen that as a strength in my life. And people who know me and have seen the transition in my life from the scoundrel that I used to be to the person I am today. Definitely, I'm a stronger man for my spirituality. And this was a vehicle for my recovery. I never went to any meetings or anything like that other than with friends or to pop in to understand that the structure of those things. My spirituality was a vehicle for my recovery. My faith pushes me through some things, pulls me through others. And the third thing I'm going to say to help you with coping with the pre-surgery jitters, I go back over them again. First one is you're not promised tomorrow. Listen, kid, you might not make it to the table. You might not get up from the table, and you need to be okay with that. And it's a hard thing because we want to think about, like, what are our loved ones going to do? And it's that need to control things in us, and we have no control. We have no control at all. Embrace that. Be okay with it, and there's a peace that comes from that. Second thing is, picture the future. Don't get so hung up in the time and date of your surgery that you can't see past it. Teach your mind. Be at peace. See past it. Think about what it's going to be like when this thing in my body is fixed. And activities, things, what I'm going to do with the time that I get after that, if I get time after that. It's good to think about those things. Lastly, your faith. I mean, if you're not a person of faith, I don't know how you push through this. And where do you put that anxiety or whatever it is that you're dealing with? If you're not a person of faith, I encourage you to give Jesus a shot. Just give it a shot. And certainly, hey, you can, through ttwmtruth.com, has a contact tab. Hit the contact tab. Go ahead and shoot an email to me. And the day after tomorrow, if I'm up to it in the healing process, and assuming God sees through it to bless me with some more time post-surgery, I'll answer those emails. I'll get on those questions for you. Give me something to do with my time, because I'm going to be sitting here for 3 weeks without any work to do. Between painting and, probably trying to record some other podcasts, some other things I want to work on, it would be neat to have that communication with you as well. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this will become one of the most useful videos I've recorded. It's a common experience. People have surgeries. People might have anxiety for those surgeries. Hopefully, there's some useful for you. God bless you. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. And maybe I'll see you the day after tomorrow.